could happen. Good evening, everybody. I don't even understand the setup that I'm looking at right
Hi,
now.
Rashida. Hi, John.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, Lucia. Hey, Keisha.
We're live from the studio.
That's
And
right.
we have some very special guests to talk about some very serious stuff today. And on my left is Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely. On my right is Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter, who's a mayor candidate to be the 68th mayor of Savannah, Georgia. Our guest today should be a whole panel. They'll be coming in after a while. Charlie Brown to Dr. Robert Bryant to Pastor Leonard Smalls and some more. We are also blessed to have the good sister up top here with us, Rashida Edwards. Ms. Edwards, good evening, good afternoon. Okay, and she's part of the reason that we're here today with this, because we understand that we have a problem in this city, and there's a whole lot of politics going on, not a lot of politicking, there's a whole lot of politricking, and they're tricking us. And I'm just the moderator here, so I'm going to turn it over to these two ladies here who can give you all everything you need to know about everything. We got one here. Here's Sandra. Sandra, how you doing? She's out in
Hi,
Texas.
Chandra.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
So to give the backstory, Alicia, Keisha, whichever one of y'all want to do it, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, we're talking about the crew and establishment, a business that has been trying to get an alcohol license since March of last year. These individuals went above and beyond what they needed to do in order to get this business license, only to be told on last Thursday that they did not qualify. They were voted out of the equation for even getting the business license, and it was voted out because of personal reasons, not because they did not do what it was that they were supposed to do. It's real sad that in this day and time, in a city that has over 600 plus alcohol establishments, and y'all keep in mind now, alcohol is a economic driver for businesses and for communities. It's sad that a city that has 600 plus alcohol establishments in a city that is 53.9% African American, only eight Black-owned businesses have alcohol licenses in this city. So what does that mean? That means that if someone wants to go have a nice dinner and a drink, they have to go downtown. So they're taking all of the resources and the economics to the downtown area that's already booming, as opposed to putting it back into the African American community. And I'm gonna let you talk, Keisha. You go right ahead. I'll come back.
Thank you for laying that foundation, Alderwoman Miller Blakely. As she stated, we essentially were disheartened to learn of the decision, or to be a part of the process where the decision was made not to offer a license to serve alcohol, was denied. And so the comment was made many times on council that licensing for alcohol is a privilege. And that struck a nerve for me, because when I look at it in terms of it being a privilege, and I look at who is receiving those licenses, it is indeed for the privileged, right? And so in having nothing to do with the people who actually have those licenses, it doesn't have much to do with them at all. The persons responsible are the individuals who are in power and who have the authority to give those licenses. And so the extra added element of why this was not well received. One, you have where you see and hear the city manager, and Julius, I hope we can come back and have you all clip various excerpts from that meeting. You actually hear the city manager when Alderwoman Blakely asked him, did this business do due diligence in terms of checking all of the boxes to make them, to put them in position to receive it? And he said himself, he says, yes, I recommend approval and I put it on the agenda because they meet all of the necessary requirements. But I will submit to you that what you all didn't see and what he didn't say, there were extra requirements of these two entrepreneurs where we have never, ever, since my time on council, held anyone to this standard.
Mhm.
And so what's most aggravating to me is that for as long as I can remember, I have been arguing to council when I petitioned for the Patels to be able to get a license for a convenience store off of Pennsylvania Avenue, where when the business owner acquired the property, they were under the assumption that the license would go with the business and all they had to do was change the names legally at the city level. But when it came before council, because the district alderman for District 3, Linda Wild O'Brien, did not want that business to have a license, they were denied. And this was without any pushback from residents. This was without any infractions. They did not have numbers or countless police reports.
You know what? Let me interrupt you right there. Actually, the residents wanted it.
Right. It was
Yes.
actually desirable by the residents. And so the same dynamic there, these individuals invested thousands of dollars
Mhm.
into opening their doors, getting their business ready to open. Same as with the crew. They have invested over $300,000
Yes.
and have been strung along through our red tape and the cumbersome requirements of the revenue department almost in excess of 12 months,
Mhm.
paying over $10,000 a month in rent, utilities, and insurance, in addition to the investment they put into the brick and mortar. So my petition to the city manager was, I have already been a part of litigious actions against the city where I was deposed to give testimony based on the process that the city engages in. And so I asked the city manager, how do we forego having citizens of Savannah who check all of the boxes, do the right things, say the right things? How do we prevent them going through that process, expending those resources, and just to come to the city council? And because someone has a personal vendetta,
Mhm.
now Alderwoman Linda Wild O'Brien will say that she was doing this on behalf of residents. Well, John McMasters, if you remember some months ago, around the third quarter of last year, residents of the Olympus neighborhood were rejecting a developer's project, I think Wicklow, for these unaffordable apartments, over 200 of them. And they were petitioning and they wrote many letters and they came into chambers to deny, to ask us to deny that appeal. And in short order, the minorities on council, myself, Alderwoman Miller Blakely, and Bryant Lanier, we listened to those third district residents and we voted against it. But in this case, Alderwoman Linda Wild O'Brien single-handedly went out and manufactured letters to deny this request. And we only received 4. And one of those individuals have said, well, that really wasn't what I intended that letter to be for. So
Actually, they said they didn't write that letter.
Right.
They
so we
didn't write it.
can't allow, when we took the oath of office, we stated that we would serve without fear, without favor, and without affection.
Mhm.
And in this case, you see where individuals have allowed their own personal vendettas, possibly against other elected servants or possibly against individuals because of their hue. I don't know. Nonetheless, I am more concerned of the expenses that individuals are incurring just to come before council and have their dreams shattered.
Well, I want to say this. It's not only a statement, but it's also a challenge to the business. First of all, if you only have 8, not 8%, but if you only have 8 African American businesses that have alcohol licenses in Savannah, then, and we know that more than 8 businesses have tried to apply for alcohol licenses over the years, then that's already discrimination on its face. Okay. Then if they checked all of the boxes, because see, we can't keep moving the line when it's just to suit Linda or Van or whomever, the criteria for an alcohol license should be exact. It should be on paper. It should be so that the business, whoever the applicant is, knows everything that it takes to obtain that license. And if they check all of those boxes without it, without it being a gray area, then that is the point where this should become if it's more than one person that this has happened to, business that this has happened to, there should be a class action lawsuit filed against the city of Savannah, because of these discriminatory practices.
You make a great point, Sandra, and that is one of the things I was going to bring up today, but you hit it before I did, because we need to know everybody who has applied, who has been denied. If we can get that information, then it needs to be something done, because see, we're tired of being stepped on, and see, they think that they can just do anything to you and then lie to you and say anything that out of their mouth we're supposed to believe, especially Van Johnson. He thinks everything he says it so with so much authority that we're supposed to believe it. But every time he's talking, he's lying.
But
Julia,
to that point, it now has to become less about what Van Johnson says and more about how people are believing or receiving what he's saying. Because I'm at the point now where it's not enough to only serve the citizens of Savannah, but we cannot serve lazy citizens of Savannah. We cannot serve citizens of Savannah who are not engaged, and we cannot continue to serve citizens who will simply spew opinions about media headlines and about the newscast. We have to now help citizens of Savannah understand that while what is happening to the crew, and I'm so happy that this is being used as an example to mobilize and engage citizens, but look at what we did at the top of March of 2021 when we were fighting to save the Weeping Time land.
Mm-hmm.
There is no more of an important issue outside of saving lives on the streets of Savannah than preserving the Weeping Time land. If we had the number of young folks who have given voice to this issue and who are raising concern about the crew and that liquor license, if we could have coupled them with the faction of individuals who are advocating for the Weeping Time, we essentially could have saved that land. You see,
Mhm.
when we don't know our history,
There you
when
go.
we are not able to focus on preserving our
Mhm.
heritage and our culture, that's why you have this slippery slope of what we are experiencing.
Mhm.
And when people saw how Van, they may be saying now, well, Van voted for it. No,
No, he didn't.
Van controls the vibe. And I like John McMasters to weigh in here. There has never, because he follows counsel and he pays attention,
Mhm.
there has never been a time on council where Van Johnson has voted with myself, Alderwoman Lanier, and Blakely, who have consistently been in the minority, but who have consistently fought for the issues, not just to support African American communities, but for all of those who are working
The
class,
lost, the
marginalized.
least, and the left out.
Exactly, not a part of
Yes.
the status quo, the elitists and the classist.
Mhm.
And so what we want people to now recognize is we're going to use this moment as a movement to send a message that you get it now. You get it now. And no more are citizens going to be gaslit. No more are you going to be told one thing only to have politicians go behind closed doors and do another.
Mhm.
When messaging comes from the news desk, you have to know it's been sprinkled with the magic of the media.
Mhm. But you know what, Alderwoman, I know you want John to jump in, but I have to say this. In Savannah, Georgia, our constituents, our citizens, especially African American, and I don't want nobody to think that all I talk about is Black folk. And I'm gonna say what I said on
There's nothing wrong
yesterday.
with you doing that, though.
We are as
You don't have to
strong
apologize
as
for that.
I'm not apologizing, I'm explaining. We are as strong as our weakest link. And right now in the city of Savannah, the weakest link is African Americans. We have been gaslighted, we have been hoodwinked and bamboozled for the last 25, 30 years under African American leadership. Okay.
Preach.
Now we are an oppressed people. We know our history. And it's so sad that while we're there fighting, trying to get the things that oppressed people need, they've been oppressed for so long that they don't even know when we're fighting for them, when we are fighting in order to bring equity across the board. I tell people all the time, I don't give a goddamn what nobody else get, but I be darned if I'm a pay into a system, if my people gonna pay into a system and we don't get no return on our investment. And that's what's been happening. When she speaks about gaslighting, yeah, they come out and they say, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Y'all, let me tell you something. Martin Luther King Day Parade. Got a phone call yesterday. Myself and Alderwoman Gibson Carter. The lady said on the post that we did yesterday, can we please have porta potties for the parade?
And we were like, what?
What? You mean to tell me the city gives St. Patrick's Day everything they need for their parades, for their celebration, for their festival? But when we ask the person why we don't have porta potties, the person said, oh, because the city don't give us nothing. You have not because you ask not.
No, they have
And
not
that is-
because they're more inclined to be friends, establish a
Right,
relationship and friendship and kinship.
Right, but let me finish.
And you have not.
They have not because they have been gaslighted by the Black leadership that always told them, oh, the city don't have money for this, the city don't have money for that. And I'm gonna talk about this. Edna Jackson, we went to her, myself, Marilyn Jackson, Ivan Cohen, to ask for money for Juneteenth. That individual said, oh, the city don't have any money for that. Last year, myself and Alderwoman Gibson Carter went to the city manager and got that festival the money that they needed. Turned around and got the Little League, that was her, turned around and got the Little League that $150,000. We have been working behind the scenes, but y'all, the point that I'm making is, when it comes to Black folk and Black events and the needs of African American people under Black leadership, we were told no. But now that we sit on that dais and you all have sent us down to City Hall, guess what? The whole time they was lying, because the city manager has a fund where he can give up to a certain amount of money. We just increased his amount from $25,000 to $50,000 without coming before council. That lets you know that those individuals were a part of keeping Black folk in this town oppressed.
Is that per request?
Yes.
Yes.
If you ask, they would always say, no, we don't have it. We don't have it. We don't. But because we're sitting on that dais, now we're getting more than we've ever gotten in the last 20 plus years.
Wow.
To speak on what Keisha asked you about a few minutes ago.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for including me. Before I do that, I want to address this money funding issue. Last year, 2022, the city of Savannah issued $699 million of new permitted construction. Okay. That's 2/3 of $1 billion. You don't have an impact fee ordinance, but let's say you had done this work, and I know you all tried, but let's say this work had gotten done in 2021. Last year, that $699 million of new permitted construction would have yielded conservatively at least $60 million for budgetary purposes. I know a lot of that is account shifting, but the numbers are the numbers. And that's really enough just last year to pay for the entire cost of the police department. So it's a myth that there isn't enough money. Your general fund budget is $251 million a year. It's more a question of who they want to favor and who they don't want to favor. And that's not good policy. That's unfair policy. So I agree that the problem exists in the processes and the fairness that comes and goes. My opinion is you guys can't get anything on the agenda, yet you've got stuff on the agenda that doesn't belong on the agenda. It's about as convoluted a situation as as a fiction writer could imagine. For instance, liquor licenses have no business going in front of city council. None. And most cities across America, particularly, from 50, 60,000 population and up, of which clearly, we're 150,000, that they have a separate, distinct, standalone board or commission that aren't elected people. They're not part of city council or a county commission. They are a standalone decision-making body of whether or not permits for alcohol sales should be allowed. When you leave it in the hands of city council, with all due respect, you guys aren't subject matter experts. You're a part-time citizen government, and you are asking to decide the fate of small business operators and medium-sized operators, like this O'Neill woman, the applicant who's invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to the starting line, and then to have it fall on a bunch of part-time non-subject matter experts is absolutely crazy. The best expert in yesterday's hearing was the city manager, and he recommended approval.
Yes.
So anyway, Keisha, what exactly was your question? Because I've forgotten it.
I have also.
Okay.
I don't know that I had a question more than I wanted you to weigh in on the historical votes on council. And I think I was more asking you to help shape the narrative as it relates to how council has voted historically. And I know you probably raised your gray brows when you heard that Van voted with me, Alicia, and Bernetta,
Yeah.
and just shed some light on how.
Well, that was a purely political.
That's it.
He just he voted to deny it, and then
Yes.
changed his vote to approve it. So the man is conflicted, or something else is at play, because those two are contra votes.
Well, what I want you to do, John, is call it what it is, right? And that's how we are going to have to go forth when it comes to removing him from office. And I know that that's not what this show is about, but I intend to, as a viable candidate in this race, not lean on anyone else, to use every single opportunity that I can to take this seat and make a difference in the lives of people like Rashida Edwards, who has been held back by these ill policies, individuals like Brittany O'Neill and her partner, who have been held back by these policies, and this individual. What people need to know is that nothing happens in the city of Savannah if Van Johnson doesn't bless it, and nothing will happen if he
don't
doesn't
give him that much power.
But he
The powers that be behind the scenes.
However it is, he's the water carrier.
There you go.
However
Yeah.
that goes.
He's a water carrier.
So
Yes.
to say that he's conflicted is a little too kind. He knows exactly what he is doing. I will give him this compliment. Van Johnson is by far the most skilled politician I know. And there is a distinct difference between a politician and a public servant. He doesn't have an ounce of a public servant's bone in his body. This man is the master of manipulation and the author of confusion. And what he demonstrated during that city council meeting was exemplary of his 16 years as alderman and his time on council this term as mayor.
Yeah.
Van will manufacture drama and pitch it to the media, who is motivated to carry out the messy messaging. And it's unfortunate that the weak-minded council members that he has been able to bring into his fold have aligned themselves with him. All of the district votes, with the exception of District 1, have been sold to Van. And so when he flipped for the very first time and broke away from his fabulous 6, when he flipped, fabulous 5, I should say, if he were going to ever flip in any vote, it should have been the weeping time. But you picked this one moment where you know that the young people with a voice and with street cred and with a following, you know that they were laser focused on this issue because these young people desired the crew as an additional outlet for their entertainment. You knew that if they saw you vote against this, when Alicia Miller Blakely, Alderwoman at Large for Post 2, stated after that vote, remember in November, he flipped his vote. Yes. And so this is the gaslighting that I've been talking about since my time on council. This is the behavior, the manipulation. He's like a batterer. He's like a domestic violence abuser.
The bad part is this. The bad part is this, before I forget what, he could have changed their mind. Van manipulates and he owns those votes. He owns Dietrich's vote. He owns Linda's vote. He owns them. You can't tell me anything different.
Colombo and Estella.
They might go against him, but those two, Linda and Dietrich, He owns their vote. They don't read and study like these two Bernetta. They don't read like those three. They sit and they read the stuff. They are lazy. Dietrich, Linda, Purdy, they're lazy. And they don't read the stuff, so they don't know what's going on. They research, they look at it and say, oh no, this don't make no sense. Why is this going on? And they challenge it. And everybody think that they're being messy. No, they're being advocates for the people.
Yes.
They're being good fiduciary officials for our money.
Yes.
That we spend in the city of Savannah.
And here's what I want to say to that, Julius. You know, I'm grateful to people like Tasha Barnes and others who have taken to Facebook, Miss Edwards and Taylor Washington, who have been very vocal about this issue. I've looked at some comments on Tasha Barnes's live in particular, and I want to say to those individuals who seem to think that this work should involve us exercising a certain level of decorum that's consistent with just sitting and being classy. There is nothing classy about this work.
Nothing.
And at this juncture, for what I have been through and for what I have had happen to me, and very rarely do I make my work personal, but there aren't too many times where you're going to have a time where somebody calls you a black ghetto BIT
CH. Just say it.
All gloves are off.
Yes.
All gloves are off. So what we are not going to do is hold certain people to a higher standard. My record speaks for itself. If you want to look at any highlight of any element of what Savannah Morning News or any of the media affiliates have reported in terms of when I exercise behavior that was not consistent with being an elected official. Well, I submit to you, the reason why the city of Savannah is in the situation it is now is because your elected servants previous to me, my predecessor, this city has been afforded African-American leadership at almost every level in this town. Black mayors, majority Black council. This mayor in particular was on a majority Black council more than one time, and that district after his watch was still one of the worst districts in Savannah.
That's right.
We've had Black county chairs and Black commissions. We've had Black DAs. We've had Black every level except for a sheriff. We haven't had a Black sheriff, right? And some of those positions have been all Black all at the same time for a span of at least 4 to 8 years. And how have we moved the needle? So I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not enough just to be Black and be in office. It's not enough just to align yourself with friends, friendship, relationship, and kinship, and have an expectation that everything is going to be okay. And so when we remove ourselves from being told a vision, remove ourselves from being told a vision, remove ourselves from television and from the headlines, then and only then will we see through what people who were in these seats before us couldn't do. They didn't have the courage.
Didn't have the courage and wouldn't do.
They didn't have the courage to do it. They didn't have the motivation to do it. Maybe they were getting something as a result of not doing it.
Ain't no maybe they was.
And in addition to that, these individuals did get along. You know why they got along? Because they were on the same team. And don't tell me what's not supposed to be aired on television, because if it's not aired on that dais, you wouldn't have known about the crew. If I had just sat there and said nothing, if I had not advocated,
you wouldn't know anything.
You wouldn't know.
You know what, Alderwoman? I don't know what people thought they were going to get, especially with me. When y'all sent us to City Hall, y'all ain't sent us down there to play the game. Y'all sent us down there to change the game. Correct. One thing for certain, two things for sure. God has blessed me immensely. Alderwoman Gibson Potter is blessed. Alderwoman Bryant Lanier is blessed. We blessed people. We educated, learned women. Okay? So you don't send us to the doggone battlefield with a butter knife when they got machine guns. All right? You sent us there to change the game. So guess what? That's what we're doing. Because it had been done in the past, then this work that we're doing now would not be so doggone hard.
But you know what, Alderwoman Blakely, to John's point, and I have to keep going back, and I say to you and Alderwoman Bryant Lanier all the time. I think we are suffering from PTSD because we have been so far in the fight. Oftentimes, it's very difficult for us to come up and see and realize how and why this is really happening. And John, this goes back to what we discussed during my address to the city after the State of the City address. The crux of all of this, the core, the foundation for all of this confusion, we would not have had to change the game so much so if the charter hadn't changed.
Come on.
This
now.
all resonates from the fact that we have been blocked out and locked out of the legislative process.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, look at I stipulate to you, Keisha, that this election in November of this year is the litmus test of whether or not the citizens, and really this is in the hands of the Black community. Look at the white community is
Hold on, say it again. Say it again, John.
The fate rests in the hands of the African American voters in the city of Savannah.
The black people.
Exactly. Black votes will determine whether or not we want a fair and equal government that functions rationally, without bias, without favor, without preference, as it is now under Van.
Mm-hmm. And that's coming from a white man, y'all.
Look at the white community is happy.
Yes.
If we should go back and really pull the records on all, I'm changing the subject here. We should go back and look at all the liquor license applications since this council took office. And we should figure out how many Black licenses got approved and how many white licenses got approved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you're going to find is it's much harder, it's much more complicated, it's much more arduous on Black applicants. Yet
yes, it is.
Not a Black majority city council. Ergo, this is the sellout mode.
Say it again, boy. You
Say
better
it again.
that word.
Say it again.
You said it correctly when you said you've had almost 30 years of Black leadership at city council and majorities on most of those councils of Blacks. And the needle doesn't really change a whole lot. You get a little bit here if you scratch the right back and you curry the right favor, you get resources. It shouldn't have to be that way.
Exactly.
So
you know what? Let me say this, John. Not only did the crew not get their license, they've put in place an overlay in the 5th district, predominantly Black, in the 1st district, predominantly Black, so that these individuals that want to put businesses in the predominantly African American districts, you can't even get a license in those. And then you have all the persons who sit up and say, oh, my people don't want that. But once you break it down and explain it to the people how much of an economic driver,
40% of a business.
Come on, man.
Revenue is generated from
look
that
at
license.
Talk about Rashida's situation.
Right.
Y'all, I'm sorry.
It's better than a liquor
Please,
store
I'm sick
on
of it.
every damn corner in those same areas where you could have a decent restaurant or
Yes.
a nice club to take yourself out to, like Liquid. I loved going to Liquid when I was there, but I hated that Liquid was the only place that I had the option of. Or Odyssey was the only place I had the option of. Then I had to go down to City Market and deal with that drama, if I wanted to go out. No, I should not have to go out to places that they do not really want us in and spend my money. No,
Tell it.
but y'all can let the Patels and everybody else put a liquor store on every corner in every area of these Black areas.
That's
You know,
good. That's what
so
they do.
I am saying I'm challenging the war room to do just what John McMaster said, but then I'm challenging you guys to go a step forward and reach out to every business that has applied and been denied. And Craig Butts put up a post saying that the scary lawyers in the city of Savannah won't take the cases. But
they
guess
gotta go
what?
outside of Savannah.
But guess who will
Savannah.
take the cases? The lawyers in Atlanta take the cases because they don't give a damn about Savannah that much.
Chandra, to that point, let's let Rashida weigh in on her situation, because what you are saying is directly consistent with what's happened to her. She is a very impressive young woman. I tell you, if I had an ounce of the business acumen of these young people when I was their age, I would be a millionaire by now. And it excites me so much. When I went in and saw the establishment at the Crew yesterday, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And this is being created by young people. And then I visited the Vintage, a new event venue here in Savannah, and I thought, wow, this is young woman, beautiful, and she has been essentially held back. She doesn't want to serve. She doesn't want to sell alcohol. She's an event venue for weddings and birthday parties, and just wants to have it as an offering for her catering. Rashida.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everybody. I guess just to kind of weigh in on my situation, just as Alderwoman Carter just stated, not even looking for an alcohol license. I just would like for my guests to be able to celebrate the most important day of their life, their wedding or their birthday. We have a 70th birthday party coming up soon, where a glass of champagne can't even be shared to, honor this young lady being here for 70 long years. People aren't living now to see 25. And this woman has been on this planet for 70 years, and her family can't share a glass of wine or champagne to commemorate that. My situation, my venue is located in the 1st District, which does have an alcohol overlay. There were some rules kind of set in place a few years ago, and the overlay is a temporary ordinance, and I think that needs to be expressed. It's a temporary ordinance, and I, within the past 6 months, have asked numerous times, when is the process of revisiting the overlay? And there's no answer.
Rashida, it's temporary. It's temporary. That's the verbiage that they use, but it's not temporary because it's been in place for far too long. Okay, right. Go ahead, baby.
Absolutely. I have had so many doors slammed in my face when all I'm asking for is answers. And I can accept an answer if it's legal, and that's the answers that I have been getting. At this point, I've gone through a MPC process to apply for 2 variances that were suggested by 2 members of the city and director, one of which is the director of urban planning and urban development, Ms. Bridget Letty, and Judy Jones are the 2 that suggested that I apply for the variance when I met with them several months ago, and I did that. I do personally feel that I was not supposed to win that approval, but the West Savannah community came out and showed out in numbers. There were, if I'm correct, maybe 60 to 70 people almost between the Zoom call and those that showed up there to support the venue and it being able to host alcohol. And we did get the 2 variances that we need, because in the overlay it states that a venue cannot exceed 2,000 square feet, and my venue is 5,200 square feet, and that a venue has to be 300 feet from a residential residence, and mine is 275. We did apply for those variances, and I did get both of them. However, and right now, if you read the approval letter, it states in bold print that the venue is approved for on-site consumption. My guests should be able to go down to the revenue department right now and apply for a single-use permit for their event for that day. However, when they're doing that, they're getting denied. They're getting told that they won't accept the application with no explanation of why to them nor myself. I have sent emails after emails to Miss Jones, to council, to the city attorney, to the city manager, and I'm not getting any answers from these
Oh,
individuals.
hold on. She being real nice. Let me tell you what the situation is. Let me tell you what the situation is. Because the mayor was one of the ones that instituted that overlay, along with the neighborhood association president and a couple of other individuals that don't even live in West Savannah,
Right.
was instrumental in instituting that overlay. This young lady went out and got how many signatures
Nearly
did you get?
about 200.
200 signatures, y'all, that said that they supported her and wanted that venue. But they were still
above that, woman Blakely, she got the zoning board's approval.
She got the zoning board's approval, but when it came to us, y'all better wake up, black
so
people.
You see, it's a continuation of moving of the finish line. Moving of the finish line. You check all the boxes, you do all the right things, say all the right things, and the finish line moves when you get close to it. And somebody made the comment in the comment here about what's happening to black people and those people doing something to us. Listen to me and listen to me clearly. Understand that it's not what you think the white man is doing to you. It's what the black man is doing to
folk.
you.
Yes.
This is black people doing it to black people. So, you know, if you can't hold your own accountable, don't seek to hold somebody else responsible for what.
Well, you heard what John said. White folk good.
So
they good in Savannah.
Yeah. And I do
53.9% of the population. That means we as black folk are the majority.
And here's what I want to talk about.
We have the power.
Let's talk about rent control and how that majority is being watered down. That majority that you're speaking of is being watered down. We let's stop getting caught up in the minutia. As awful as what has happened to the crew is, as awful as what happened to the Weeping Time, we have to understand that nothing changes in this city. Nothing changes in communities without policy initiatives and without policies on the book. And those individuals who are in place to govern and drive those policies.
That's right.
As we are not just older women. We are not just elected officials, or I like to say about myself, an elected servant. We are policymakers. We are supposed to be policymakers. Anything else?
We are peopleticians, not politicians.
And anything beyond that becomes simply rhetoric. We need to be talking about things like
cut Wheeler light on.
What kind of policies and ordinances will control and prevent the abuse, like what's happening to Rashida, what's happening to the O'Neills. We have a real epidemic going on in this city right now. We are void the opportunity to put forth legislation that would help us help individuals, specifically renters, stay in their home. This administration has failed for multiple years, failed to roll back the millage rate, which would have essentially reduced property taxes. But as a result of not doing that, what we now have are renters experiencing increased rent. Many people have contacted us and have acknowledged that their rent, both for residential and professional, have gone up between $500 and $1,500.
Even your cousin.
Yes.
You know,
and so we now have apartments, two bedroom apartments renting for more than an average mortgage. The Baxley downtown, those apartments now are going 2 bedrooms for $4,000.
Wow. I wrote a op-ed.
So it's about policy, people.
I wrote an op-ed back in 2014-15 that said, "What have you done for me lately?" And it was directly related to having black leadership, but what are they doing for the black people in their cities? And go ahead, Rashida.
I would like to jump in. I want to share a comment that was made in regards to my business and it being able to host alcohol. I was actually told by or suggested suggestion that I should have my guests go to a neighboring business, which I believe it's called the Axe Place, is right across State Street, and I should have my guests go over there to drink and go patronize that business, and then come back to my venue to listen to. And I was just like,
but that's not fair. That's not fair. Why can't your business make money all the way around
for
that night?
And I think it's important for everybody to understand where my venue is located. I sit between the in-market arena and the Axe building, or the Longshoreman Hall, if you will. I literally sit in the middle. Both of the establishments to my right can host alcohol. The Axe building, the Longshoreman Hall. And of course, we know that the in-market arena has alcohol, and I sit in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the difference about your business, Rashida? Tell me what. I mean, I'm over here in Houston.
Chandra, thank you. You never thought about that.
I never thought about that.
Because if the alcohol overlay is in the first district, then why wasn't the arena affected? Bam.
Yeah. Can you tell me what the difference is? Because I'm all the way over here in Houston, so I don't know.
Because she a black entrepreneur.
My understanding,
Houston, we have a problem.
So there is a map. I don't know what the process is and how they select the streets, but I will say that literally my building sits on the curb of, or the line of the overlay.
Yeah, you're on the borderline.
There's a map, and Savannah Candy Kitchen is their back dock area faces the front of my building, and in their dock area or right on their property on that curb they can have alcohol. I just can't sit on my side of the street.
Alicia, what is that word called when they carve out a map in order to choose? Yeah, did they just gerrymander you?
They did. No, and what? Let me. And I'm going to quote Pastor Marsha Buford, who is the neighborhood association leader. She explained to me that they purposely added that the building that I'm in. They purposely added it in because of the previous tenant. I guess it was some form of an event venue before, but it was more geared, I believe, towards youth. And they felt that they
black
had
youth. Put it out there, black youth, baby.
Ma'am.
It was more geared towards black youth. It was a dollhouse. That's because we don't have any venues for our young African Americans to go to. Somebody created this place called the Dollhouse. It was like a teen club. So the kids would go there, and they just got disturbed, as they normally do, when you have a lot of young African Americans in a business, in a place, and they said, oh no, we got to make sure that they don't have nothing. And that comes from that older African American mindset. Instead of embracing our young black African Americans, they want to put them out. Just, no, we're not going to do nothing. But I'm going to say this again. I don't mean to overtalk you, Rashida. I apologize. Y'all hear what this man is saying. The white man is saying, they good. When we going to be good for us?
John, you're gonna the rest of 20
that's right, I'm gonna say it.
You should charge her, John.
No, it ain't. Remember in November. That's gonna be the same.
Remember in November. I love term. I love term.
Right.
The great Charlie Brown has
Rashida's
All
problem.
right, Charlie. Sorry, Charlie. Right.
Rashida's problem.
Rashida's
problem in this discussion of getting things done. Her challenge is that she's black. Okay.
You don't say. For real?
Yes.
Is she black?
Yeah.
Let him say it again. I didn't
say it again, John. We didn't hear you all the way.
Okay. Whether it's Ms. O'Neill or whether it's Rashida, the challenge that they face is that they're black and they're not connected into the bougie white power structure of this.
No, the bougie black, the elitist black who think they have arrived, but at the end of the day, the white folk gonna let them know that they still black.
Let me illustrate, and Charlie, you're being very patient, but let me put a tack in this and give you a perfect illustration of what I'm talking about. You talked about moving the goalposts, Keisha.
Mhm.
Okay. You talked about an overlay district, and that, oh, we gotta. Sorry, you're not in the overlay. You're not lucky enough. Well, we got a hotel overlay, right? And what happened at the end of Indian Street? There was a Scribner's error that would allow SCAD
Come
to
on
get
now.
outside of the overlay so that they could build a 17-story.
Come on now. You better tell it, honey.
All right, and at the other end of Broughton Street, and I can tell you this because my wife and I own a building in the 400 East block. The hotel overlay does a huge gerrymandering jog at Habersham Street so that the Kaminsky's property is now in the overlay where you can build hotels. So listen, if you're connected, you get a Scribner's error, or you get the lines drawn favorably to include or exclude your competition or include your property. This is what we're facing, people. It is inequitable. It is bad public policy. It's historic. And this election, I pray, is the election where blacks take control of the real deal and not the pretender.
And that's coming from a white man.
Charlie Brown.
I am white.
Charlie Brown.
Okay.
You're on mute, Charlie.
How about now?
Yep, you're good, Charlie.
I'm good. That came from a white man as well.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to say one thing first. I'm a little bit late. There is a word in the dictionary called continuity. Van and Linda have voted every single time together. He and her are allies. And what happened on Thursday is a travesty to the black community. When this man think our IQs are just that bad, and maybe it is just that bad because we voting to keep him in office. I'm saying, why will Van vote against her and she have been his ally from day one, every day, and all of a sudden he's going to vote yes in favor of the license? Either I was
after he voted no the first time.
Something correct. So is the black people that naive to buy into that?
No, now.
He is treating the black people intelligent for granted. Say you don't really matter. I can tell you anything I want to tell you, and you will fall for it.
Charlie, can you please repeat all of that again, so the people in Savannah can hear you?
I'm saying.
But wait a minute,
there's
Charlie,
there's a word in the
everybody that's watching this right now, all of y'all watching, share this.
Share it.
There's a word in the dictionary called continuity. Van, Linda have voted for Van with him every single time. And now all of a sudden,
he gonna vote with us. Boy, back.
He don't have loyalty for Linda in the 3rd district and vote yes. Now, you and I both know that Van already know 5 votes was in the house.
That's it.
Now, why is he disrespecting? Julie, y'all, hold on. Why is he disrespecting the black people and the black people in this community and white people? It don't make no difference.
That's right.
Now I'm gonna give you an example.
Even people who support him,
right?
He's doing wrong.
You know what he have done? He don't have respect for them nor y'all on city council, and he damn sure don't have no respect for me. If he think I'm buying that, then I want to buy a bunch of swamp land and I'm gonna sell it for solid ground land.
Come on, baby.
There was a time back when a guy named Rule Jonah
Come on
Van
now.
was doing so bad in the first district, it looked like a third world country still.
Mhm.
And that's 40 years later. He hadn't done nothing for
Nothing.
Black people. Just put all the people who run City Hall, not him, in place. Van got to go. Van got to go. He has
Bye.
not been good for Savannah.
Nothing.
So don't tell me that you're going to vote every single time and your ally, Linda's your ally, and you're going to turn on her on Thursday. That's a travesty. And say, I'm going to vote yes. I'm going against you. She shouldn't vote again with him for nothing and allow those women to put an agenda on city council. The city of Savannah don't know that. Y'all can't put nothing on the agenda. You know why? Because the newspaper and the TV station get wind of it. So they don't want them to get wind of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to say.
Now.
I'm back out here for one reason. Van got to get my people out of Egypt, and he hadn't done nothing but to keep us in Egypt.
You know,
and that's why he got to go.
You know how everyone describes this administration? My husband describes this administration. My husband describes this administration as an apartheid.
Okay.
That's how he describes
That's how it is.
It is.
And I don't know. Listening to you talk, Mr. Brown, I can't understand, John, how in the world, like I'll give him 4 years, his first 4 years. I'll give that to him. I might even give him his second term.
Heck no, don't give him nothing.
Why did it take the citizens of Savannah, particularly those in the first district, so long to see? Why can't they see it? Why can't people see this?
You know why, Alder Woman? Because they're oppressed. And they so use, okay, you have a man that's in a position of authority. As long as he come and pat them on the back and tell them, oh, look at your fingernails. They look so nice. Your head is nice. Everything is good. If that's what they're getting, then they're saying, I talked to the mayor. The mayor's my friend. Your friend, but your friend ain't doing nothing but gaslighting your behind.
What do you?
Let me give you a
young people like Rashida. Young people like Rashida are entrepreneur. He should welcome them with open arms. Give them that opportunity. He is wrong. City council is wrong who voted against it. We asking young people to step up to plate, to be about creating jobs, be about creating business. And yet he is striking it down. It's wrong.
Look, I just want to say, embarrassingly, I want to say that Van's only demographic that is holding fast are bougie white liberals, and that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. They like him because he checks their boxes for politeness and
hold on, not just bougie white liberals, John. You got your black elitists too.
Well,
you got your individuals who are Van fans riding with him 24/7. I just told you, if he pat them on the back and rub their hands, say, "Oh, girl, you look good. Your nails pretty." You know what I said? I can't do something because one of my nails broke. You know that individual said, "Let me see it." You will not have that image in your mind of me having broken nails, boy.
If you want a perfect abject example of manipulation,
laughing, but it's real.
Watch Friday Night Date Night with the mayor. It's a of recognition, adulation, stroking. It's the seamiest side of political popularity.
Well, John, a lot of my work has been done in the area of domestic and sexual violence. And when I compare Van to a batterer, I really mean what I say. Now, he may not be hitting these women physically who are on that Friday Night Live with him. He may not be physically abusing them, They may not feel that way, but that's what he is doing every single day in his behaviors, in his actions, in his decision making as mayor. Because the majority of those women who are following him on social media, I would say probably, I don't watch it, 85% of them are African American women. But Ben has done little to nothing to advance anything that is going to benefit
None of
those
us.
women and
Nope.
and so you do one thing, you have the pillow talk, but then when you get to the office, you're having an affair with the secretary.
Yeah.
You know, so you,
Rashida, say what you got to say.
Hey,
I want to say something that I feel is important from my standpoint, or from on behalf of the venue. Beyond making money, for those that know, I'm from the West Savannah area. My parents live in Cloverdale, and between Cloverdale and Garden City is my family. One of my number one goals when I opened the venue was to be able to help West Savannah elevate. We have so many projects in place for the youth of West Savannah, for the elderly of West Savannah. I have expressed these projects that we are going to do regardless of whether we are treated fairly or not, because it's genuinely in me to help. But I've tried to explain to the neighborhood association leader that you guys need this help. We are in the process now of establishing a young entrepreneurial workshop every month. I have several friends that are in my age that have their own businesses, and we are coming together to do workshops every month to get kids out. There's no cost for this, to get the kids out, get them involved in things that they already have an interest in, teach them the ground levels of how to get their businesses established, even doing taking them with them on the weekends to do work. We are in the process of doing shuttles for the elderly that live in West Savannah that have not had transportation to the grocery store since COVID. They have called the city. They have complained these people are not tech savvy. They don't know what Instacart is. They don't know how to get on the internet and order groceries. They're just suffering, or they're taking the city bus and being in uncomfortable positions. I've expressed the fact that I have a bus and I'm willing to assist these individuals with getting to the store once a week. But I can't do that if I'm fighting to keep my lights on, because I'm losing bookings because of guests not being able to have alcohol for their wedding reception or their birthday party. We just had a huge toy giveaway specifically for the first district. My viewpoint is I have a business here. I make money here. I should be able to give back to this community in more than one area and more than one time a year. We just have to give back. We're starting the youth entrepreneurial class. I want to get to a point where we can do the shuttles, but gas prices are what gas prices are. And being able to offer that service with no charge, I financially can't afford to do right now. So it's heartbreaking, because the community is the one that is feeling the pain of other people's decisions who have a nice SUV that they drive around in every day. They have transportation to the store, but these people that are living in this building need my help. And I'm unable to give it to them because I'm so busy trying to fight to keep bookings on the books and keep the doors open. It's awful.
Somebody just asked, who is the young lady talking? She is Rashida Edwards, who is the owner of the Vintage. And she applied for an alcohol license, not to sell alcohol, but just to have the opportunity to give her customers, when they rent her space, to have alcohol in their venues. And she has been to serve alcohol, and she has been denied. So that's who Rashida Edwards is. And she is in the first district, where they're saying that there's an overlay, and she can't do it because there's an overlay. Now, somebody also said, I think it was Bernard, said we talking over everybody. Because guess what, Bernard? I got to say this right here. We older people now. And I'm so thankful that the young people are getting engaged and getting involved, because we have to talk now before we lose our thought. All right. Go ahead. And Bernard, why you not on this right now?
He's trying to get on that.
Get on. Come on. We need you too. We need your input, because I like what you said about black men. Black men, where you at? Why you got these black women fighting this fight? Well, the reason why we're fighting the fight, we are tillers of the soil right now. We tilling the soil. And doggone it, these young people like Rashida, like the crew, Brittany O'Neill, like what's his name, Myquan Green, Jaquan Oliver, and those type young men, Malik Jones, all these young folk that want to get engaged and get involved. We tilling the soil so that they can be the reapers of the harvest. Okay, and all young folk. All right, bring Bernard on.
Enough is enough.
got to
And
be a
Yeah, it
someplace
really
they can get
is.
on.
It's
simply my concern is, for instance, someone shared with me yesterday, I think it was either Alicia, shared with me how many Black people have license in the city of Savannah and how many licenses are out there. And it's a sad day when the deprived one, look at the rent, it's just everything is going up. He is considered being popular, but popular is not getting the job done. And I don't know who he's being popular to. It certainly hadn't been to the people in East Savannah, West Savannah, Cala Brownville, and other areas of this city. So I'm wondering what they're talking about. I want them to open their eyes up.
And I'm glad you mentioned the dynamic with regard to the data as it relates to how many permits or license we have on the streets versus those who do not have them.
Correct.
We are looking at, again, a policy issue and a process issue. And the way this mayor has elected to tackle any issue he feels related is to create a task force, right? In addition to this task force, we've had some extra near six-figure positions added. We have on staff for the balance of a year now an equity and inclusion director. What isn't it? Why isn't it on the desk of that equity and inclusion director? The first thing I asked the city manager to have that person look into when we first were presented with this issue was revenue, right? So what isn't it about the fact that we have data that says you have over 600 licensed on the street and less fewer than 10 of them are held by African Americans and minorities in this community? You don't think that's worthy of a task force?
Oh no, but that's what he said. The mayor said after he presented all these task force, he said that the task force for African Americans and diversity and inclusion was city council.
The city council who denies African Americans.
Oh, really?
Yes, go back and look at it. Go back and look at it. Because a young man came to City Hall and he kept asking the question, where is the task force for African Americans, for Black people? And he said it was the city council.
The city
That
council
is just like
I want to say this. I want to say this right quick. I'm asking all my family, friends, grassroots voters in this city of Savannah, please arm yourself. Get ready. If you're not registered to vote, get registered to vote. If you're registered to vote, he must go. I'm asking all my friends. I'm asking all my friends, grassroots people, you have no reason to vote for this man. If you can show me the next time you run into Charlie Brown, you tell him why.
Come on, Charlie.
And the reason
not
why.
just Van. Not just Van. You got to get rid of Linda. You got to get rid of Dietrich and Estella. I'm sorry.
Curtis?
Exactly.
When you vote against, you're a Black-owned business. And you voted to let 5 Indian, white,
I will agree 100%.
You voted 5 to go through, but then you turn your back on this one Black-owned. All of them need to go. And I want y'all to come to me and say, why did you say that?
I will agree 100%. I will agree 100%. They must go. They must go. Grassroots people, please arm yourself unless you're going to find yourself with nothing to do but to move somewhere else if you can afford it. I'm letting you know.
You said it. You said it. You said it.
And with regard to Estella, Alderwoman Blakely, A lot of people who have been following us closely, I know you have, John, since our time on council, you all saw the breakaway. It historically was a 5-4 vote. 5-4 vote. Van and his 4, and Estella was with me, Alicia, and Bernetta. I would be remiss right now, and I'm trying to make relevant this podcast as much as I can in terms of policies and real issues in Savannah, to say Estella broke away from us, and this is breaking news, when the whole issue of the fairgrounds came up. When she thought that her maneuvering and Van's maneuvering was going to finally get the fairgrounds to a place where all of their friends and buddies could have their hand in the pot, that's when Estella stopped voting along with us. You can go back and look at the meetings. When the 5-4 vote stopped is when the fairgrounds gained traction. Estella Shabazz sold out the 5th District's fairground opportunity to Van. And as a result of the messiness and the maneuvering, they got in bed with a developer who was not worth the paper his name was written on.
That's right.
And now
all in court.
That project is now caught in the balance, much like what's the other project? This new engagement that we just entered into with this Galvin company. That's going to be another fiasco to come. And whenever you see that team standing and celebrating anything, you have to know that it's no good for the people. It's no good.
But you know what? I gotta say this: the Galvin Foundation that just gave the $6 million to the city. Y'all, we did, and no, good. Give the city $6 million, but be real with what's going on. We gave our city manager, before the Galvin Foundation came into play, we gave him the name of a man named Leonard Coleman that's doing the same exact thing all over the state of Georgia. Talked to this man yesterday. What happened? Never got a response back. Never got a call back.
So
could be doing the same thing, but guess what? He's building affordable housing, true affordable housing. Y'all,
so we are less inclined to get excited about these things that are presented before us. I have all confidence now that the vote has been taken and it's been approved. I have all confidence in the 1st District Alderwoman Bernetta Lanier that she will watch this like a hawk. They have these 19
and we gonna watch it too.
They have these 19 properties as a litmus test.
Yes,
and we will be inclined to scrutinize every action they take, every decision they make, every step of the way. But the fairground project right now could essentially be developed, if not more than halfway developed, had it not been for the Friends Helping Friends and Estella Shabazz selling herself to the likes of Van Johnson. And that's as honest as I can be. And the breaking news is Estella manipulated myself, Alderwoman Bryant Lanier, and Alderwoman Miller Blakely. When we first came on council, there was a rush to 5. The only people left on council when we came on who had experience was Van Johnson and Estella Shabazz.
That's right.
Estella Shabazz was unopposed. Van Johnson had to go in a runoff after the general election where Alicia Miller Blakely and Alicia Miller Blakely garnered the most votes in that election.
That's right.
I garnered the 2nd most votes in that election, and Van came in 3rd, or his numbers didn't even come close to ours.
At all.
And when he and Eddie were in a runoff, we worked overtime and double time on his behalf. I signed up to be a part of a supporting cast.
That's right.
I wanted this mayor to be the best mayor Savannah had ever had. And with the depth of our talent and experience, even for those who I don't particularly agree with right now, we could have become a model community. We could have been a city where we could have been the standard for all cities, not only here in Georgia, but in the United States. But because of the tyrannical leadership, the narcissistic behavior, Estella and Van were in a race to 5. Estella was trying to get me, Alicia, Bernetta, and I think she wanted Linda, and Van was racing to get his. He got his first.
That's right.
And this was unbeknownst to us. So Estella takes us to Atlanta and introduces us to all these people who are now coming to the table for this fairground project. And I'm looking like, what
Now
have I got
see.
my stuff
We
caught
see
up in?
the buffoonery.
And the story goes deeper and it gets better. And I am inclined to tell the whole story and the full story if this foolishness does not stop. But despite that, we stayed the course. We stayed on the side of integrity and we stayed on the side of ethics. I expressed to the city manager what my concern was and that I recognized that individuals who were connected as developers to this fairground project were individuals that Estella had relationships with and who had introduced us to. And so this office, and let me tell everybody who is interested in running for public office, if you are broke, if you are greedy, and if you have a low ego, politics is not the place for you.
No, baby,
because it's not going to do anything.
You ain't gonna get no money unless you selling your
because
people
it
out.
is so easy to get picked off.
Yes,
it is so easy to get purchased. And I've said this before, and Alderwoman Blakely laughs at this. Of anybody on our council right now, of anyone who should be sold out or should be like for sale, it should be my broke.
Your broke ass.
Right. I'm the only one on council who doesn't have a job. I don't have a pension. I don't have a regular or steady income. My husband, this job pays $25,000 a year.
Pennies.
After taxes and insurance, when I answer the phone, respond to an email, attend an event or an activity, or give a donation, my husband actually is paying for me to do this job. I am offering myself humbly for service to Savannah.
That's right.
Just as I have for the last 3 decades in this city. From a place of authenticity and transparency. And so again, we want young people, Rashida, we want you all to run.
Yes.
But we want you to keep it real. I believe that once I'm finished with this 2 terms of mayor, I'm done with local government.
I'm done.
We are paving the way for young people.
Term is over.
We are paving the way for young people. No one should stay in office in excess of 2-3 terms. 20 years. This is what you get when a person stays in office for 20 years.
Exactly.
Bernard said he's moving back to the 5th to run. What do you think about it?
But wait a minute, I want to say this. For all of you that's watching right now, for all of you that's watching, please go to your pages and share. Y'all got to share this information. You can't sit there and look at this and not share it to the next person. I want the 1st district, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th to hear what it is that we saying. Because like she talking about she broke. She ain't that doggone broke. But one thing for certain, 2 things for sure. We are blessed.
I'm blessed.
We are blessed.
I'm broke, but I'm blessed.
All right. Now,
Let Bernard interject.
Hold on, Charlie. Let me finish this. We are blessed. I did 25 years in the United States Army. Okay, longshore woman.
She buys my.
You understand? We're blessed, y'all. Bernetta, retired longshore woman. Okay, Alderwoman Gibson Carter, blessed. Y'all, we blessed. We're not doing this for us, and that's why they can't stand it. Because it ain't about me. It's about my people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and I'm sorry, I'm real passionate about this because December 19, 2005, 4,000 pounds of plywood crushed both of my feet. And I asked God while laying in that hospital bed for 30 plus days, what was my purpose in life? God, if you allow me to ever walk again, because the doctor said this, we can't say it's up to God. That's why I know it's a God. If you allow me to walk. And it came to me as clear as day. You will be a voice for the voiceless. And guess what? From that day to this one, I'd rather man be angry with me than the creator. Now,
Thank you.
So guess what? I don't want the pats on the back, the rides in the yacht, the little brown bags, all of that. That's not what we about, y'all. So when we down there on that dais and we ain't looking cute, for some of you that said that on some of these lives because of the crew and what happened, Rashida and Latasha Bonds is live, because we ain't looking cute, because we ain't being prestige. It's a reason.
But what happened when they was had decorum?
You ain't getting nothing.
Nothing
You
at
ain't
all.
getting nothing.
Well, we want Bernard to chime in now. Bernard, you say you moving back to the fifth. If Robert don't run, you running.
Robert,
Yeah. First of all, I want to say hello, my people. How y'all doing?
Amen.
I just got back helping my little daughter trying to be great in basketball. I ain't got time for good. I want to say this here. Y'all, what's wrong? I've been in Savannah for 2 months. Let me tell you what's y'all biggest problem. Y'all biggest problem is y'all got black people problem. At the end of the day, that's y'all problem. You know, you got to clean up your own house before you talk about cleaning up the white people house and all that house. It's like this here. I am so tired of, and I'm gonna give praise to Alicia and Keisha and Son. I am so tired of these women fighting for us.
Okay.
Where's the men that need to be fighting? And I'm here in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm gonna fight for y'all, and I'm gonna stand with y'all. And I can't, man, I'm telling you, these BS's young men, older men, and everything, all they want is just go around and take. And with Van surround himself around women, because at the end of the day, we really know what time it is. Trust me. And I've been here 2 months, and I done hear so much negativity about this man. It's a shame. So y'all keep doing what y'all doing. At the end of the day, I'm here to fight for y'all because I'm a man's man, and I don't have time for a woman to continue to fight for me.
Come on now.
I'm gonna fight for myself, period.
Yes.
And who don't like it, I really don't care. So until Savannah, Georgia correct the black problem, you ain't gonna correct no problem. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and Atlanta, Georgia, we fight, we stay together, we live together, and we ain't let nobody mistreat us.
That's
Period.
right. And guess what? The white man already said they good.
They good.
The white man said it. John McMaster said it. They good. So guess what? For the bougie, the boule, the elitists, the classes, and all that, I already said. Savannah got a problem of isms. The boule. You got racism, elitism, cronyism, classism, and it's black folk. Nepotism, all these isms. You understand? Come on, and y'all know who it is. Call it behinds out. Every chance I get, I'm calling them out. Because guess what? They don't pay my bills. All right? They don't pay they don't feed me. They don't clothe me. And I know who controls me, and that's him up above.
Yeah.
Bam, baby.
You're right. Because what it is like this, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, because that's what I do. See, the white people, they sitting around looking at us, and we taking our own self out. And all they got to do is just sit there and watch the show. And it is what it is. And with Vaughn, yes.
Let me tell you something, Bernard. You know what black folk like to say? Why we looking like that in front of white folk? Why we acting like that in front of white folk? And you know what I tell them? White folk don't give a damn about how they look in front of us.
Yeah.
When we gonna wake up?
Wake up.
Now.
You're right.
And that's a I said it moment. John, go back and tell your white friends that I said that.
Listen, I don't care how you dress or look as long as you vote for the shit I like.
I'm gonna vote for the shit you like.
I'm glad Pastor Small laid on this.
I know.
Well, Rashida, in all seriousness, we got a problem, and what we need to do is we have to show these people in a couple of ways. Now, we have to show them with our presence, like Bernard say, we're the black men, we're all the men who has a concern about what's going on in this city. And what Rashida is going through, and what those people are going through, and what those other people, Montgomery Street was going through, trying to get a license. Wait a minute.
It is crazy. Let me say this. There's a club in East Savannah called exclusives. Shouts out to Tanya LaBoy.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that she had like the old school blues and the truckers and the rhythm and what have you. Well, I was told that she passed that club down to her son-in-law or to one of her relatives, and was told that the older woman, this is hearsay now, I don't know, and I hope that the individual that this happened to will reach out to me so that we could have the discussion, was told that you ain't gonna get a license in this area because Black people don't know how to act. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. That's
Wow.
It's probably
Wow.
true because the older woman over there would say something like that.
all right. That's
Well-
hearsay. But I hope and pray that that young man, that individual who got that particular establishment, that business, y'all, we got you, baby.
I want to say this to Rashida. Rashida, never be afraid, because in the Bible it says if your people will not accept you, get the dust from your feet and leave with your peace. And I'm saying this because you have an entrepreneurial spirit. You will succeed in any place. Okay? So if you cannot succeed in Savannah, do like what I did. Leave. Okay? Take your piece with you and leave. In Houston, we have very good Black businesses, and they make it very easy for us to be in business. It's no such thing as we can't get a alcohol license. You know, a business.
But Chandra,
license,
the only
wherever we
problem
go.
with that is she has invested so much money, energy, and time. She can't just pick up and take all that money that she's invested. How much money have you invested, Rashida?
Close to about $70,000 altogether.
Yeah, I mean, no,
I get it.
We're gonna do right by you here, and you're gonna.
I would sue Savannah
for others.
I would definitely sue the city of Savannah.
Just like
That
I
would
was
be
I
your
was
first step.
I was reading some of the comments, and I don't think some people really understand how complicated it is to find an attorney that is rather, not buddy, or that is willing to take on that load. I've spoken to several, and I've heard almost the same comment from way too many. That I try to stay away from the city as far as possible, and even reaching out to other areas. It's amazing how far the reach goes. It goes a lot further. And granted, there's thousands of attorneys out there. I'm raising one. I told my son I wish he was already finished with school, but trying to find somebody that's not afraid or feel that they're going to, have an issue themselves after the fact of taking a case like that is not as easy as it sounds. It's really not.
Well, if you're looking in Savannah, then you don't need to look in Savannah. Because
Right.
if
Well,
they're scary, if you're an attorney and you scary, then let us know who the names is that's scary, and we'll put them out there.
And I see a comment from Keyshawn Housey where he states we have to mobilize and engage differently than we have before now. And the thing that I say to that, I think that's a message for people like you, Rashida. If we had people who are older than you, people who have been a part of the process longer than you, if we had them mobilizing, because they know how to do this work, we would be in a far better place than we are right now. There is no reason for us to have a not just a majority African-American council, but a super majority African-American council, 5 Black women. There is nothing that a Black woman would not do for her people, all people, for generations. We have been caregivers. We've nursed other women's babies who didn't look like us.
That's right.
We've maintained households right here in this city of Savannah. even some of the highest
Still
level,
doing it.
even some of the highest level executives can attest to that there was that black lady, Mima, Big Mama, Granny, who
Nana.
came to his house for 18, 21 years, made his bed, washed his clothes, made their dinner. With 5 black women on city council in Savannah, Georgia,
Come on now.
we
Right.
should have been unifiers of this community.
That's
we
right.
should have been providers of this community for this community. There should not have been a need we could have not met.
That's right.
The city of Savannah and the county of Chatham have enough money to take care of all of the needs of this community. But we do not have the political will. And so I want to encourage young people like you, Rashida, to mobilize, engage, and pay attention for yourself and keep doing what you're doing as an advocate and a lover of Savannah. I don't want you to leave. and while we're in position, we're going to do everything we can to keep you. And I definitely get what you are saying about not allowing yourself to be abused and to Chandra, to, if people can't appreciate you, don't be tolerated. If they're not celebrating and appreciating you, leave. I definitely can ascribe to that, but as an advocate for maintaining who we are as Savannians and acknowledging that someone like Rashida promotes our community and makes us look good and makes us who we are, we as leaders, we have to do everything in our power to keep her.
Yeah. I got a question for everybody on this panel. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to everything. Okay. 2 questions. What's the solution and what's the agenda moving forward? Because we can talk. What let's get a plan. Like Charlie Brown always say, hey, what's the agenda? You know what I'm saying? He, like Charlie said, Republicans don't have no agenda. So at the end of the day, what's our agenda and moving forward to correct what's the problem in Savannah, Georgia? I done did all my time in Atlanta. Now I'm focused on Savannah. What's the solution? What we need to do come together to change this?
Well, one of the first things we need to do is to share this show. Communication is the bloodline. We got to do that, and you arm your friends, relatives, and the people who are not doing what they supposed to do for this community. Alicia know them so well. She call them out. We have to vote them out. If you're not registered to vote, go register to vote. But if you are registered to vote, they must go in November, because you got to make a difference, because they are holding Savannah back. And that's my plan, to tell all my family and friends, all the grassroots people know Charlie Brown want to help my people. I want to get them out of Egypt and bring them in to the real city.
I like that, Charlie. And to take that a step further, I've always said that as I entered politics, my platform when I ran for Alderwoman at Large for Post 1 was to advocate for citizens, to make myself accessible to the citizens of Savannah beyond the Gold Dome, and to inspire our electorate to take their rightful place in government. And in doing that, my message has always been, do not wait until election season to vote somebody out to get what it is that you need. And so to answer your question, Bernard, it's the same thing I've said to Rashida and what Mr. Housey suggested. You have to mobilize and take your rightful place in government today and demand accountability, demand action. And that looks like utilizing tools like email, Facebook, text messaging, coming down to City Hall and holding your elected servants accountable. What happened to the crew, what happened to Rashida at the Vintage Special Event Place, that cannot die. You know, Curtis Purdy calling me a black ghetto BITC, that cannot die. You have it go unchecked. You have to.
Girl, you should have been across that damn table.
And so what I want to say is, as mayor, as the 68th mayor of the city of Savannah, Bernard, what I want to do, or what I will do, is we are going to align ourselves with the Charter of Savannah. Our charter indicates that Savannah is a council manager form of government. We do not have a strong mayor form of government. This mayor has essentially backdoored his way into creating that, right? Where he makes all the decisions. If the citizens of Savannah on election day, November 2023, when we take office in January, it will be my goal to make sure that every district representative has the ear and the voice of the people, and they are bringing it back to City Hall, and we are putting forth the agenda of what's desired in the 1st through the 6th districts.
That's right.
Not what our personal agendas are. We will not hijack the legislative process from our district representatives, and we will allow them to be treated as professionals. We will not remove administrative support from council members, thereby handicapping them so that they cannot make effective outreach to their citizens. We will create a platform where everybody is treated with dignity and respect. We will, in real time, tackle issues like homelessness. We will not merely put a Band-Aid on it. We will, in real time, go out of the way of the chief of police. We will not politicize that position and allow him or her to do their job.
And the fire department.
What we will do is hold our housing authority, Erlene Davis. We will hold her accountable. We will not live in a city of Savannah where you have more units vacant than you have occupied by families
with the housing authority.
We will work with the Board of Education to make sure that families with children who have turned hotel rooms into their personal bedrooms and kitchens and living rooms and dining rooms all in one space. We will work toward those things, and we will utilize the opportunities provided to us in collaborative relationships with our other governmental entities to make sure that we are truly, I don't want to be smooth. I don't want to be wine and dine. I want to have real tall talks and courageous conversations with the Georgia Ports Authority. I don't need to go to dinner and lunch with executives at the Chatham Club. We will have big conversations with the University of Savannah College of Art and Design. We will talk to the ports. We will look at our policy as it relates to returning economic opportunity back to communities where individuals who do business in that community are making a better living than people who live there. So that's what we are going to do, Bernard Brown.
And that's what I thought. Okay. And that's what I thought this administration was going to be about.
It wasn't
about none of that. And that's why I am very upset. And that's why I came out of retirement, because of that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And we need to focus, Savannah.
Somebody said, don't advertise my strategy. You know what? I am so unselfish. I want, and I know Van Johnson and his operatives, they will be watching this. Let me tell you this, City of Savannah, State of Georgia, United States of America. I am so unselfish. I want Van Johnson to do the right thing today. When he goes to work tomorrow, I want him to change all the evil of his ways and do the right thing. I don't want to continuously make an example of him so that I get brownie points and call for people to think that, yes, she really needs to be in office. I want him to do an exceptional job from now until the end of 2023.
Man, he ain't gonna do it. Ain't no sense. He ain't gonna do it.
I want him to do that. I do not want Savannah. I don't want another family to have to bury a child to gun violence just because I want Van Johnson to do that. I do not want another family to be forced out of their home because they can no longer afford rent just because I'm making a bid for mayor. I will become the 68th mayor anyway.
Yes, you will.
But what I can tell you, in 2 to 4 years, if something does not change, Savannah, as we know her, will be a person of the past. We will no longer be the culturally blended community that everyone knows and loves. Van Johnson is incapable of doing much more than what he has already done. And so if people will continue to be gaslit and tricked by his antics and his tactics to get back in office, so be it. But I intend to continue with my messaging that is consistent with he needs to change today if he's changing today, and if he's going to use my message and my platform to get it right, I'm willing to package it with a bow and give it to him, because I want Savannah to be saved, and I do not want her to go into ruins just because I want to be mayor.
But you know what, Alderwoman, that ain't never gonna happen. So for y'all, I'm saying this. Remember, in November, vote all their behinds out. Put the ones in there that you know doing the work and that's gonna do the work. And we are vetting individuals right now. We're talking to individuals to make sure that they're on the same wavelength. And remember what the white man said. Remember what the white man on this said. They good. And it's up to Black people in the city of Savannah. Remember this. We 53.9% of the population. That means we're the majority. But we ain't got nothing to show for it.
Send your bill to her for that.
Time for us to stop going along to get along. And speak up so that we can be strong. And I promise you, y'all, I promise you, we're no longer the weakest link.
Miss Blakely,
African Americans,
Miss Blakely,
watch what will happen.
Miss Blakely, thank you for being the voice, and thank you because the grassroots people, we love you, and we will go with you because you, Keisha, want to make a difference. Bernetta, we're going to put them out, and we're going to turn Savannah back into the city it need to be in, a fair city, not a dishonest city.
A fair city for everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, we got about 8 minutes left, and I just want to say this here. I'm taking my show back over. I gave it to them. Y'all know I got a lot of words to say. I just been quiet today.
Julius has been saying, you know, when he went off camera and muted, he said, "That's why nobody like y'all, because y'all always take it over."
They love us. They just don't know it yet.
But this is what I want to say to you two.
Yes.
And you know, y'all know I love y'all dearly. Y'all like my sisters. Y'all and Bernetta is too.
And I'm like your brother.
Yeah.
And you like my daddy, you old. But what I want to say is this, and I can't say this enough to those out there who don't know who these people are. See, all you see is what WTOC tells you. You have to understand that they're fighting for you, and you can't cut them off at the knees because they're fighting for you, because WTOC say they don't have tact and decorum. They have tact and decorum, but they're tired of trying to be nice when the game isn't fair.
Come on.
The rules ain't fair.
Come on now.
Things have been changed so they can't fight for you. So they have to voice their opinion and they have to be out front with it. And y'all think that it's messy. No, it's not messy. This is government. This is the democratic way. If you no power is never ceded to those that don't fight for it. That's right. You have to fight for everything that you need and that you want. And you have to take it. And we're going to take it in 23. We're taking City Hall back over. We took it in what that was, 19, 20. We're taking it back in a few months. You better believe what I'm saying.
Guess what the President of the United States said? That politics is a what? Blood sport.
Yeah. And
ain't nothing nice about it.
And
yeah. Remember that.
Especially when people trying to get things done.
Well,
it's messy. Yeah.
But look at what they're fighting for.
Keep it real.
They're selfish. Their own selfish.
You got to, keep it real. Be yourself.
One thing.
Keep it real. Keep it real. Be yourself.
That has been to benefit us personally.
Not
and you know, and this is what I have to say this also, Juice. In listening to your comment, I start doing a laundry list in my head of when you say, well, the way they fight and people criticize them, understand that much of what people believe and what they've heard, it has been manufactured by the media.
That's right.
Pitched to them
That's
by man. You know, there is not like if I were a man, even if I were you, if I was a black man, I would not get as much scrutiny as I get today because I'm a woman. Right. So it's like there's something wrong with our culture and our world where when a woman says something, you know, there isn't much that I've said that It's just that I said it,
Mhm.
right? It's nothing.
But you
wrong
know
with
what,
it.
Alderwoman? Had you been a white woman, a white man, a black man, listen to me. You would not be held to the scrutiny that you're being held to now. But because you are a black woman who they look at as you ain't supposed to say nothing. You supposed to be mammy. You supposed to sit down and shut up and be quiet. Held to the no. I come from a warrior background, baby. 25 years in the United States Army. This woman been on the battlefield for 25 years trying to save the lost and the least and the left out. When y'all sent us down to City Hall, y'all know what the hell y'all was sending down there.
Well, actually,
You wasn't sending me down there to damn be quiet.
Well, you know,
You was sending me down there to be a fighter for you. And that's what I'm doing.
You know, Alderwoman Blakely, previous to coming to City Hall, though, I was like considered this like nonprofit guru, Savannah's golden girl, for being a helper. But whenever you ever heard the term, people will use you until they have no more use for you.
That's right.
And that's what we are essentially victims of, because we are not allowing ourselves to be used. And so we now have to stop allowing ourselves to get caught up in the madness of what's reported, because then we ourselves, for people who love me, know me, and care about me, they oftentimes, I have to explain to them what really happened. It's like, okay, I did what? Okay, tell me, was it at minute 9.13 seconds? Did you watch the meeting on that Thursday? And so I think the one thing that they keep pointing out now is me standing up and pointing my finger at Curtis Purdy, because this
you good. Because had he called me a black ghetto bitch,
this was subsequent.
It would have been on and popping.
Calling me that.
I'm telling you, that would have been the first damn meeting
baby.
Where it, not
but we
where
glad
they called
that
the
she
police,
didn't.
We
but
glad
where
he
they damn
didn't.
snatched me
Chandra.
off his ass.
Chandra,
Thank
I'm loving all of the snatch, all of the snatch.
Yeah.
Right?
Girl,
But
You
no,
better know.
I don't even know what happened to you.
I merely stood up. But when you with Savannah Morning News and the media affiliates, they will plaster my face with me pointing my finger. And this is just an example of something you just said, with me basically asking him to stop lying on me. But not one time did they plaster his face, advertise his name in any media outlet, including Savannah Morning News, with Ghetto Black B. None. And there was no other, there has not been as egregious of an offense than what Curtis Purdy did to me.
That's right.
But you would think the three main things that sink politicians and cause them bad press is misappropriation of money, a sex scandal. You slept with somebody's husband or wife. I haven't slept with anybody's husband or wife, or some criminal offense like DUI or beating your wife, right? I haven't done any of those things. But the way these people have reported on me, you would think that I have committed all three offenses all at the same time.
Girl, I already told you what the deal is.
But what did the two black men say?
Sandra, let me tell y'all what it is. They're intimidated with the fact that this is an educated, learned, articulate black woman. And she know $50 words, not $25 words, like that older woman said when we first got on.
Sometimes John will
Come on, baby. Sorry.
All right, we got about 2 minutes.
What did the two black men say? I need to
In
know.
the words of Nikki White, let's be clear.
This has been
Yeah.
fun.
Hey, y'all just keep
Anytime I'm about to tell the people about this now, I'm about to tell the people about it. Go ahead, Bernard, make it quick.
Hey,
I
I want to say this here. I'm gonna tell Alicia and Keith. I'm gonna say this here. I got y'all back. I ain't scared of nobody. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, and if y'all have any more problem, I'm here for y'all. At the end of the day, don't let. I'm tired of these men or whatever disrespecting our black women. If it wasn't for our damn black women, we won't be here. So I got y'all back, and if y'all need any muscle, I am the damn muscle.
Natalie said that we need to show up at city council meetings, every meeting, and rock the boat.
That's right.
And, it's a lot of stuff that we need to do, and especially what Bernard said, black men, you need to stand up. Men, period, you need to stand up. And we need to fight for these young people like Rashida and the people that's trying to open up the crew, the O'Neills. And there was some people over there.
And Skillway, the young couple. Yeah, so and he was a police officer.
It's blatant.
Rashida, send me your information.
I will.
And we got to do some stuff. So, but y'all stay tuned. We're gonna have shows like this on Saturdays and Fridays with a whole panel of people discussing this. We're gonna be on Better Savannah on Thursday nights. We're gonna be all over the place, giving you all the information that you need so you can make great decisions. But we got to go because I can't replay this show if it's over 2 hours. So we'll see y'all. You look for this show, y'all share, and y'all look to hear from all of us on all of our shows every day. We 7 days a week, and pay attention to.
We are your new Black media in the city and the county, the city of Savannah and the county of Chatham. Bam, babies.
Love you guys.
Love you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun.
like that.